Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're plunging headfirst into the world of marine life.
Sounds exciting.
It really is. Our source material is an essay called The Amazing World of Marine Life.
Okay.
And in this deep dive, we're going to explore why this underwater world is so crucial to all of us, meet some amazing ocean dwellers, and also
Right.
examine the threats they face and what we can all do to protect them.
I'm really curious to hear about that.
Me too. Me too. Did you know the ocean produces more than half of the oxygen that we breathe?
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It's pretty wild, right? And that's all thanks to these little plant-like powerhouses called phytoplankton.
Phytoplankton.
Yeah, they're pretty fascinating, and we'll definitely be talking more about them. I'm excited to unpack all of this with you and discover more about the mind-blowing variety of life in the ocean.
It's incredible to think about.
Isn't it? From the largest animal on Earth, you know what that is, right?
The blue whale.
The blue whale. To creatures that can actually solve puzzles.
I love octopuses.
Yeah.
They are so smart.
They really are. They're incredible. So it's easy to forget how much we rely on the ocean when we're not, right next to it.
It really is. The essay makes such a good point about how connected we all are to this underwater world.
Yeah, totally. It's not just a pretty place for vacations, right?
Not at all.
I remember learning about photosynthesis way back in school.
Yeah.
But I never really thought about, how vital the ocean is to that whole process.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure, plants make oxygen, but the scale of the ocean's contribution is just mind-blowing.
It's enormous. I mean, we're not talking of a few trees in a park here. It's trillions upon trillions of phytoplankton.
Wow.
These microscopic algae capturing sunlight and turning it into the oxygen that we all breathe.
So they're like the planet's lungs.
Exactly, working tirelessly beneath the surface.
That's a great way to put it. So every other breath I take is thanks to the ocean.
Pretty much.
That's amazing. And it's not just oxygen, is it? Billions of people rely on the ocean for food.
Absolutely. It's a vital source of protein for a huge chunk of the global population. And it's not just about, keeping us fed. It's about culture, tradition.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
You think about like fishing communities, seafood markets, those recipes passed down through generations. It's all tied to the ocean.
It really is.
Yeah. So we've got the ocean giving us oxygen, giving us food. What else makes it so crucial for the planet?
Climate regulation.
Climate regulation.
The ocean acts like a giant heat sink,
Right.
Absorbing massive amounts of heat from the sun.
Right.
And those ocean currents we always hear about, they're like a global conveyor belt,
Okay, yeah.
distributing that heat around the planet and playing a huge role in shaping weather patterns everywhere.
Okay, so it's keeping us cool in more ways than one.
Yes, exactly.
And that heat regulation role has got to be super important with all the climate change stuff happening, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's more crucial now than ever.
So speaking of the ocean, I'm eager to hear more about all the amazing creatures that live there. The essay mentioned some pretty incredible life forms.
Oh, yeah. The diversity of life in the ocean is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
We're talking about millions of species, each one perfectly adapted to its own little niche in the ocean. From, the sun-drenched coral reefs to the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean.
Wow, like a whole other universe down there.
It really is.
Okay, so break it down for me. What are the main players in this underwater world?
Well, let's start with the most abundant group. Fish.
Fish.
There's just a mind-boggling variety. Everything from the tiny, colorful clownfish that you see hiding in anemones
Yeah.
to, the ancient and powerful sharks that have been around for millions of years.
Sharks are so cool. Talk about an ancient lineage. They've seen it all.
I know, right?
And speaking of ancient lineages, the essay talked about sea turtles. It's incredible that they can live for over 100 years and migrate thousands of miles across the ocean.
It's really amazing. It's like they carry the entire history of the ocean with them.
Yeah, it's like their own personal time capsule.
Yeah.
And the migrations are truly epic.
They are.
They really highlight how interconnected the ocean is.
Exactly. I mean, sea turtles depend on specific beaches for nesting,
Yeah.
but those beaches are often thousands of miles from their feeding grounds.
Wow.
It's a delicate balance that's really vulnerable to any kind of disruption.
That's a good point. The ocean isn't just this vast empty space, right?
No.
It's this whole network of interconnected ecosystems.
It is. It's a web.
Okay. So we've got the ancient sharks and the long-lived sea turtles. What other fascinating creatures are out there?
Well, we can't forget the marine mammals.
The marine mammals.
I mean, the blue whale, the largest animal on Earth, lives in the ocean.
It's hard to even imagine a creature that size.
I know, right? They can grow up to 100 feet long. That's longer than a school bus.
That's insane.
And they're not just massive, they're incredibly intelligent.
Really?
Yeah, and social creatures.
Interesting.
Scientists are still studying their complex songs and family bonds. It's really fascinating.
Wow. What about other marine mammals like dolphins? Are they as clever as they seem?
Dolphins are definitely intelligent. They have complex communication,
Okay.
problem-solving skills, even cultural transmission of knowledge within their pods, which is amazing.
Wow.
But the essay focused on another group of incredibly smart creatures, cephalopods,
The cephalopods.
specifically octopuses.
Octopuses.
Yeah.
Octopuses solving puzzles.
Yeah, have you read about that?
I've heard about that. I've seen some videos. Are they really that smart?
They are incredibly intelligent. They've been observed using tools, navigating mazes, and even, escaping from enclosures.
Oh, wow.
Their nervous systems are so complex,
Yeah,
and they have problem-solving abilities that rival some mammals.
that's incredible. So we've talked about the big guys, the ancient lineages, the super smart ones. What about the plant life?
The plants.
Yeah, I feel like they often get overlooked,
They do.
but I remember the essay emphasized how important they are.
You're right. Plants and algae, like seaweed and seagrass, are the foundation of many marine ecosystems.
Oh, yeah.
They provide food and shelter, they produce oxygen, they even help regulate the ocean's chemistry.
Yeah.
So they might not be as flashy as a shark or a whale,
Right.
but they're absolutely crucial.
So it's like everything works together.
Yeah, it's a whole system.
From the microscopic algae to the giant whales. It's this intricate web of life, and we're just starting to understand its complexity.
We really are just scratching the surface.
So we've explored the amazing diversity of marine life, but I know there's a flip side to this coin. The essay also discussed the challenges facing our oceans.
Right. Unfortunately, all those wonders of the ocean are facing some serious threats. So, are you ready to explore the darker side of this story?
Absolutely. We have to understand the problems so we can be part of the solution. I'm ready to dive in.
Okay, great. Well, one of the most pressing issues the essay highlighted is pollution.
Pollution.
Yeah. It's easy to forget that our actions on land can have ripple effects that reach far into the ocean.
Right.
We're talking about plastic waste, oil spills, chemical runoff. It all ends up impacting marine life in countless ways.
Yeah. It's heartbreaking to think about those images we've all seen, sea turtles mistaking plastic bags for jellyfish,
Right?
or seabirds tangled in fishing nets. It's a stark reminder that we're all connected to this ecosystem, whether we realize it or not.
We really are. And while plastic pollution is a huge problem, it's not the only one. This essay also talked about overfishing.
Overfishing.
Yeah. Which is actually a much more complex issue than just, catching too many fish.
Okay, overfishing seems like a multifaceted issue.
It is.
What are some of the less obvious ways that it impacts the ecosystem beyond just depleting fish stocks?
Well, think of it this way. Each species in the ocean plays a specific role.
Uh-huh.
When we overfish a particular species, it's like removing a crucial piece of a puzzle. It creates imbalances in the food web, it allows other species to proliferate unchecked, or it can cause a decline in predator populations.
Oh, so it's like a domino effect.
Exactly.
Removing one key species can trigger a chain reaction that destabilizes the whole ecosystem.
Exactly.
And then on top of that, we have climate change, which adds another layer of complexity.
Climate change is a huge factor.
Yeah, it affects everything. How does it specifically impact the ocean?
Well, in a number of ways. It's all interconnected. But first, the ocean is absorbing a lot of the excess heat that's trapped by greenhouse gases.
Okay.
This leads to rising ocean temperatures,
Right.
which can disrupt delicate ecosystems like coral reefs, which are already stressed by pollution and overfishing.
Yeah, I've heard about coral bleaching. Is that a direct result of rising temperatures?
Yes, exactly. Coral bleaching happens when corals, which are very sensitive to temperature changes, get stressed by warmer waters.
Oh, okay.
And they expel the algae that live inside them, causing them to turn white and lose their major source of food.
So if the temperatures don't go back down, the corals can actually die.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that leads to the loss of these vibrant and biodiverse ecosystems.
Wow. So warming waters are bad for coral reefs. What other impacts does climate change have on the ocean?
Another major issue is ocean acidification.
Ocean acidification.
As the ocean absorbs more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, the water actually becomes more acidic.
Mhm.
And this can harm shell-forming animals like oysters, clams, and even tiny plankton, which are, the base of the food chain.
Oh,
Imagine the cascading effects if those foundational species start to decline.
wow. It really is a chain reaction,
Yep.
impacting everything from the smallest creatures to the largest ecosystems. And then there's the melting ice caps, right? That must be impacting marine life, too.
Absolutely. Rising sea levels, driven by melting glaciers and ice sheets, threaten coastal communities and habitats. And the loss of sea ice in the Arctic is particularly concerning because it impacts iconic species like polar bears.
Polar bears.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
rely on the ice for hunting seals and raising their young.
It's a pretty sobering picture.
It is.
It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all these problems. Is there any hope for our oceans? What can we do to protect this incredible world?
There is absolutely hope. The essay emphasizes that this isn't a time for despair, it's a time for action. And it's not just about grand gestures, it's about the small changes in our daily lives that can add up to make a real difference.
Okay, I'm ready for some actionable steps. What can we as individuals do to help turn the tide?
Well, one of the simplest and most effective things we can do is reduce our plastic use. Single-use plastics are a major culprit in ocean pollution, so choosing reusable bags, bottles, and straws can have a real impact.
Okay, that's something I can definitely do. I'm definitely guilty of using too much plastic. I'm going to make a conscious effort to cut back and choose reusable options whenever possible. What else can we do?
Recycling responsibly is also crucial. Making sure you're separating your waste properly and following your local recycling guidelines can go a long way in preventing plastic and other waste from ending up in the ocean.
Recycling is a no-brainer. What about the seafood we eat? I know the essay mentioned sustainable fishing. How can we be more mindful consumers when it comes to seafood?
Making sustainable seafood choices is so important. Do a little research to learn about which species are caught or farmed in a way that minimizes environmental impact. Look for labels like MSC certified for wild-caught fish and ASC certified for farmed fish. These certifications ensure that the seafood you're buying comes from sustainable sources.
That's good advice. I'll definitely be on the lookout for those certifications. So we've got reducing plastic, recycling, and choosing sustainable seafood. Any other tips on how we can make a difference?
Never underestimate the power of knowledge. The more you learn about marine life and the challenges it faces, the more equipped you'll be to make informed choices and advocate for change.
Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
The more we know, the more we can do. And speaking of power, there's power in numbers too, right?
Absolutely. Getting involved in local or global conservation efforts can amplify your impact. You can join a beach cleanup, volunteer with a local conservation organization, or donate to groups working to protect our oceans. Every action, no matter how small, contributes to a healthier ocean.
That's inspiring. It's a reminder that we can all be part of the solution. So we've covered a lot of ground here, from the incredible diversity of marine life to the threats it faces and what we can do to help. What are your final thoughts on the essay's message?
I think the essay did a great job of highlighting both the beauty and fragility of the ocean. It's a reminder that we're all connected to this vast and vital ecosystem and that our actions have consequences. But it also instilled a sense of hope, showing that individuals can make a difference and that by working together, we can protect our oceans for generations to come.
It's a powerful message of hope and responsibility.
Right.
It's clear that the future of our oceans is in our hands. It really is a call to action. It's easy to get, caught up in the doom and gloom of all the environmental issues.
Right.
But this essay really, reminded me that we actually have the power to make a positive impact.
Yeah, it's empowering, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
We're not just passive observers,
Right.
we can actually be agents of change. And it's not about being perfect. It's about taking those small steps, making conscious choices,
Yeah.
using our voices to advocate for the ocean.
Speaking of voices, one thing that really struck me in the essay was the emphasis on learning and sharing knowledge.
Yeah, that's so important.
It's like, we can't protect what we don't understand.
Exactly. Knowledge is the foundation of action. The more we learn about the ocean, the more we appreciate its complexity and beauty, and the more motivated we are to protect it.
Right.
And sharing that knowledge with others, whether it's, through conversations with friends and family or supporting organizations dedicated to ocean conservation, can create a ripple effect that leads to real change.
Yeah, so it's like a cycle. Learn, share, act, repeat.
Exactly.
The more we learn, the more we want to do, and the more we do, the more we inspire others to join the movement.
And who knows, maybe through our collective efforts, we'll uncover even more wonders in the ocean.
Oh, that's a good point.
Think about it. The ocean is still largely unexplored.
Right.
What other amazing creatures might be out there, waiting to be discovered? What secrets does the deep sea hold?
It's mind-blowing to think about all the mysteries yet to be uncovered. That's the beauty of the ocean.
It is,
It's this vast, ever-changing world full of surprises.
right?
And it makes me wonder, what can we do to ensure that these wonders, both known and unknown, are protected for generations to come?
That's the ultimate question, isn't it? I think it comes down to a shift in perspective.
Okay.
We need to move away from seeing the ocean as just a resource to be exploited
Right.
and embrace a more holistic view, recognizing its intrinsic value and interconnectedness with all life on Earth.
It's about respecting the ocean, not just for what it provides us,
Right.
but for its own sake.
Yeah.
And recognizing that protecting the ocean is ultimately about protecting ourselves.
Exactly. The health of the ocean is inextricably linked to the health of our planet and the well-being of humanity.
Well said. This deep dive has been a real eye-opener. I'm leaving with a renewed sense of wonder about the ocean
Great.
and a deeper understanding of the challenges it faces. But most importantly, I'm feeling inspired
Good.
and empowered to be part of the solution.
That's fantastic to hear. Remember, every action, no matter how small, can contribute to a healthier ocean. So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep sharing that passion with others.
Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey into the depths of the ocean. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.
Yeah, it really is a call to action, I think. You know, it's so easy to get caught up in all the doom and gloom of environmental issues. But this essay really reminded me that we actually have the power to make a change, a positive impact.
Yeah. It's not about being perfect.
Yeah.
It's about taking those small steps and making those conscious choices
Right.
and using our voices to advocate for the ocean.
Speaking of voices, one thing that really stood out to me in this essay was the emphasis on learning
Yeah.
and sharing knowledge. It's like we can't protect what we don't understand, right?
Exactly. Knowledge is the foundation of action.
Right.
And the more we learn about the ocean, the more we can really appreciate its complexity and its beauty.
And the more motivated we are to protect it. And sharing that knowledge with others, whether it's through conversations with friends and family or supporting organizations dedicated to ocean conservation,
Right.
can create a ripple effect that leads to real change.
So it's like a cycle. Learn, share, act, repeat.
Exactly.
The more we learn, the more we want to do, and the more we do, the more we inspire others to join the movement.
And who knows, maybe through all of our collective efforts, we might even uncover even more wonders in the ocean.
That's a good point.
You know, I mean, think about it. The ocean is still largely unexplored.
Right.
What other amazing creatures are out there waiting to be discovered? What secrets are hidden down there in the deep sea?
It really is mind-blowing to think about all those mysteries still waiting to be uncovered. And that's the beauty of the ocean, right? This
Yeah.
vast, ever-changing world full of surprises.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder, what can we do to make sure that these wonders, both the ones we know about and the ones we don't, are protected for generations to come?
That is the question, isn't it? The ultimate question. I think it comes down to a shift in perspective.
Okay.
We need to move away from just seeing the ocean as a resource to be exploited and embrace a more holistic view,
Yeah.
recognizing its intrinsic value and how interconnected it is with all life on Earth.
It's about respecting the ocean, not just for what it gives us, but for what it is, and recognizing that protecting the ocean is really about protecting ourselves.
Exactly. The health of the ocean is inextricably linked to the health of our planet and the well-being of all humanity.
Well said. This deep dive has been really amazing. I'm leaving here with a renewed sense of wonder about the ocean
That's great.
and a much deeper understanding of all the challenges that it faces. But most importantly, I'm feeling inspired and empowered to be a part of the solution.
That's wonderful to hear. And remember, every action, no matter how small, can contribute to a healthier ocean. So keep learning, keep exploring, and keep sharing that passion with others.
Well, thank you for joining us on this incredible journey to the depths of the ocean. Until next time, keep exploring and stay curious.